Imagine Rome at its height. Marble temples glowing beneath torchlight. Senators wrapped in white robes whispering behind closed doors. An empire stretching from Britain to the deserts of Syria, convinced it was eternal. Now imagine this empire ruled by a boy. Not a general, not a philosopher, not even a politician, but a teenaged priest raised far from Rome, crowned emperor by soldiers who barely understood him. And then came the weddings. Not one, not two, but a series of weddings so shocking that Roman historians would later describe them without disgust, fear, or mockery. Tonight, we explore Elagabalus, the youngest emperor Rome ever had, and the wedding nights that unsettled an empire. But this is not a story about romance. It's a story about power, ritual, identity, and what happens when absolute authority falls into the hands of someone who refuses to behave the way tradition demands. Because what truly disturbed Rome wasn't what happened behind closed doors. It was what those weddings represented. Elagabalus was born around 204 AD in the Syrian city of Emesa. His birth name was Varius Avitus Bassianus. He was not raised to rule armies or command senators. He was trained to serve a god, Elagab, a powerful sun deity worshipped through a black meteorite believed to have fallen from the sky itself. From childhood, Elagabalus was dressed in silk robes, adorned with gold jewelry, and trained in sacred rituals. He danced. He performed ceremonies. He embodied the divine. To the people of Emesa, this was holy. To Rome, it was deeply unsettling. Rome valued restraint, masculinity, control. And yet, through political chaos, bribery, and military manipulation, this boy was declared emperor at just 14 years old. Rome expected a puppet. What it received was something far more destabilizing. Roman historians would later describe Elagabalus with one word again and again: mad. But history often labels what it does not understand. Elagabalus was taken from a world where identity was sacred and ritual defined existence, and dropped into a city that demanded conformity above all else. Imagine being 14, placed on the most powerful throne on earth, surrounded by men who despise your religion, your upbringing, and your appearance. Would you adapt, or would you resist? Some modern historians suggest that Elagabalus's shocking behavior was not insanity, but defiance. Each broken rule, each scandal, each insult to tradition, a message: I will not become what you want me to be. And Rome could never forgive that. If you enjoy deep, uncensored history like this, stories that challenge the version we were taught, consider subscribing and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next chapter.
When Elagabalus arrived in Rome, he didn't assimilate. He transformed the city. He placed his Syrian sun god above Jupiter, Rome's supreme deity. He forced senators to attend unfamiliar rituals. He blurred the line between religion, identity, and authority. But nowhere was this challenge more visible than in marriage. In Rome, marriage was sacred, not emotionally, but politically. Elagabalus treated it as something else entirely: a stage. His first marriage appeared traditional: a noble Roman woman, a formal ceremony, political approval. But Roman sources describe it as cold, brief, and empty. There was no attempt at stability, no effort to build continuity. The marriage ended quickly. Why? Because Elagabalus wasn't seeking a partner. He was testing the limits of his authority, and Rome was watching closely. Elagabalus did not rule alone. Behind him stood two powerful figures: his mother, Julia Soaemias, and his grandmother, Julia Maesa. Julia Maesa was the architect of his rise. She bribed soldiers. She crafted the narrative of legitimacy. She placed the crown on a child's head. Julia Soaemias remained close, perhaps too close. Roman historians accused her of indulgence and excess, but it's possible she was doing something else entirely, trying to protect her son in a system that despised him. Some historians believe the controversial marriages were attempts to secure legitimacy, to anchor a foreign emperor to Roman tradition. If so, the weddings were not accidents, they were calculated risks. Then came the marriage that shattered Rome's nerves. Elagabalus married Aquilia Severa, a Vestal Virgin. To understand the horror, you must understand the role. Vestal virgins were sacred. Their chastity symbolized Rome's survival. Breaking their vow was a crime against the gods. Punishment was death. Elagabalus didn't just break the rule, he celebrated it. He claimed the marriage was divine, that it united Rome with the sun god, that from this union a perfect heir would be born. The wedding night itself is barely described in ancient sources, and that silence is telling, because what terrified Rome wasn't the act, it was the declaration: I am above your gods, above your laws, above your fear. From this moment on, Elagabalus was no longer merely strange, he was dangerous.
To Romans, marriage stabilized the empire. It created alliances, produced heirs, preserved order. Love was irrelevant. So when Elagabalus divorced Aquilia Severa, then remarried her, then divorced her again, Romans didn't see immorality. They saw collapse. Marriage became unpredictable, disposable, publicly humiliated. If marriage meant nothing, what institution was safe? Elagabalus continued marrying and divorcing rapidly. Each ceremony felt less like a union and more like a performance. Guests attended unsure whether they were witnessing a celebration or a warning. Marriage, once sacred, became a demonstration of absolute power.
The wedding nights were disturbing not because of intimacy, but because they stripped tradition of meaning. Almost everything we know about Elagabalus comes from enemies, senators, moralists, survivors, men who believed masculinity defined authority. So stories spread, exaggerated, weaponized, designed to humiliate. Sexual rumor was political assassination, and Elagabalus became the perfect target. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Rome tolerated cruelty, it tolerated bloodshed, it tolerated tyranny, but it could not tolerate difference. Other emperors murdered thousands. Elagabalus broke traditions, and for that, history judged him more harshly than mass killers. Because power that refuses to perform itself correctly terrifies systems built on ritual. By 222 AD, patience ended. The Praetorian Guard turned, the Senate turned, even his family turned. Elagabalus and his mother were murdered. Their bodies were dragged through the streets, thrown into the Tiber River. His name was erased, his images destroyed, but his story survived. Elagabalus was not just a scandal, he was a mirror, a reminder of how fragile tradition becomes when power falls into the hands of someone
who refuses to conform. The wedding nights weren't disturbing because of desire. They were disturbing because they challenged authority itself. And perhaps that is why nearly 2,000 years later, we still can't look away.